Hey, delighted to have him with me now, my broadcast partner on our high school basketball games and Weber State basketball games, plus Tim LaComb, former BYU Assistant Coach, also does Jazz pre and post game for the radio. Good to have you aboard. He's dressed down a little because you got band practice, right? You got a gig here in Utah in a few months.
Yeah, we're the Party Hounds right here, baby.
Yeah.
You can get your shirts that night, too. We're playing 2 nights at the Velour in Provo, the legendary Velour, August 4th and 5th. So, yeah, come down and support us, man. We're a good outfit.
I like that baby blue guitar over your right shoulder. All right, let's get to NBA. We got a lot to talk about. Let's go in reverse order here. Let's talk about the Lakers, Nuggets, and Coach, we saw what happened here. The Nuggets sweep them out, and what happens the next day? All the talk is about the Lakers and LeBron. So we're going to do the same thing. What about the Lakers and LeBron? There's a theory that he maybe takes next year off so he can watch Bronny play, then he comes back for a farewell tour when he's 40. What do you think?
What I think is that LeBron is amazing. You know, he is the king, but I would say the king of PR. He always controls the narrative. And, you know, in this instance, you know, instead of getting grilled about getting swept, he makes a very, you know, simple statement and the whole world goes crazy. ESPN runs it ad nauseum. And again, he controls the narrative. The Lakers get swept by a remarkable Denver Nuggets team under the direction of Coach Malone and Jokic. And really the story was about, is LeBron going to retire? And it's unfortunate, but that's our day and age.
Now, there is one other thing. He did make a comment about how he felt Denver was as good a team as they've ever played in the playoffs. What do you think? I mean, do you buy that? Do you agree with that? They've played a lot of playoff games in his career.
They really have. But I think what we're seeing from Jokic is legendary. This guy has really kind of rewritten the position that he plays. And I think you can look to game 4, you know, the Lakers kind of mounting a charge, and he gets the ball late in the game and late in the shot clock. And I think it was characteristic of him. He does not panic. He makes a really deliberate move to the basket and gets by a couple of guys and finishes the game. And I think the Nuggets are on his back right now. Their climb is definitely meteoric, and I think it's because of him. And it's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. I know they're a competitor here in the Rocky Mountains, but I'm really loving watching the Nuggets play.
Well, we thought they might have an opponent last night, the way Miami was playing Boston, and suddenly second half of that game, the Celtics wake up. Jason Tatum finally makes an appearance. They end up blowing them out. What is it? I mean, Miami still has 3 shots here, Coach, to win this thing. Is there any way the Celtics make history in your view, or is this just a one-off on that game 4 and the Heat will eventually finish this?
Well, one thing's for sure, Coach Spoelstra's, you know, he's thinking the worst because the Celtics looked like the Celtics did most of the year last night. And I think that they were definitely more motivated. They got that lead really based on shooting the basketball. And that's been the struggle for them in this series. They've only shot, going into last night, 29% from the field after shooting 41 last night. They're now at 32 for the series. But I think if they could find their stroke, and now they've kind of got a new way, you know, they're invigorated defensively, and they're going to play 2 of the 3 games at home. Who's to say? But I did look. There have been 279 conference finals that have been 3-1. 266 times the team up 3-1 has won, but 13 times they didn't. So, you know, we can sit back and watch, but history would say that the Heat are very much still in the driver's seat.
That's the old phrase. You're saying there's a chance. We shall see what happens. All right, let's just play scenarios here. So we know Denver's in the finals. What if they play the Celtics? What do you see out of that matchup?
You know, the Celtics can create a lot of, as Majerus would say, havoc. Yeah, they can create a lot of havoc for the way they move the basketball, the way they guard, you know, the tenacity. From, you know, when they're really good, that's what they're doing. They're India. They're playing up and down the floor, and they're shooting the basketball. But they share that ball really well. Denver shares it at a whole different level, and, you know, Jokic is that juggernaut. But it would be a very, very interesting matchup, a team that really can gash you horizontally against a team in Denver that can kind of just try to throw that ball into him, let him make all the decisions. So it would be a fascinating series for sure.
If you're going to use the word havoc, you have to use Majerus's voice.
He just created a level of, havoc.
There you go.
And he would always scratch this brow from
the
from
hand
over
always
the
goes
top.
up. All right, Denver Heat. What would you see in that series?
Well, I think that the Jokic Bam out of BYU would be really fun to watch. I think Jimmy Butler really, to me, is the story for the Heat. That and Spoelstra. I think Spoelstra's done a great job of keeping this team alive, and they're playing with a great purpose right now. But again, I'd be the Jimmy Butler Bam show, and what has gotten the Heat here has been kind of the contributions of the four other guys. And outside of Heat, outside of Bam and Butler. So can those guys like Caleb Martin, can he keep making shots, or Gabe Vincent? Those guys are going to be really integral and important. But it would be more of a struggle, I think, for the Heat to manage Jokic. I think he would just put them in a lot more difficult situations.
All right, well, a few weeks after the NBA Finals are wrapped up, it'll be the draft. Jazz picking 9th, 16th, and 28th. Let's talk briefly about that 9th pick. And I think we can all agree that they failed miserably at tanking. But, what do you do?
Well, and I think what's lost on everybody is, the Spurs ended up with the first pick, but going into it, they had about a 14% chance. So, you're still playing with a little bit of dynamite. I actually still believe what the Jazz did was the correct thing.
Okay.
I think with a new coach, you start culture, right? And you build culture. They really knocked it out of the park with Markkanen. They've got young assets that look to be, Kessler looks to be phenomenal. And I think we have not seen the best of Colin Sexton. I love him. I think he's really going to be better than what we've seen. So all that being said, the nucleus is there, and they're picking 9th, and there's going to be a slew of good players there.
Could you give me one name that you would like to see at 9?
I'm actually going to give you 2. 3.
Okay.
Anthony Black from Arkansas. I love him. I saw him in Maui. Phenomenal. And not just because he has long hair like me. I really like him. Keontae George out of Baylor. I know, Caleb Lohner played out there. I've talked to him. This kid's a real deal. And then the kid, Cason Wallace from Kentucky. I like Kentucky guards. You can't watch the playoffs and not like Kentucky guards.
Yeah, a lot of history with Kentucky guards against teams from here in Utah. I think if we've learned nothing else in this interview is that you were in Hawaii this year. Very good. Tim LaComb, he is the man, former BYU Assistant Coach, my broadcast partner for high school and Weber State Hoops. Thanks so much, Timmy.
Hey, it's always great to be with you, Legend Foxy.
Get those guitars going.
August 4th and 5th, Velour, be there.
Got it.